Hey guys, what's going on? Hope everyone had a great weekend. If you did anything fun this weekend, sound off in the chat. Anything fun, anything different, anything that you know make some people jealous, maybe, or just give some other people some ideas on stuff to do on the weekend. If you're not working, if you're stuck at home, or if you are working and you have the weekend off, hopefully you have days off. If you are working, and thank you to everyone that is working through all of this. Yeah, sound off on what you've been doing this weekend. What did I do? Saturday, I visited my parents from the street. I had to do a little bit of mail pickup and whatnot, so you know, they dropped off some stuff. I went and picked it up. Then Yesterday, I spent most of the day playing Nintendo 64 and watching Netflix. I got through the last season of the Chef Show with Jean Favreau and Chef Roy. That was I love that show. I love Chef. I love most all cooking shows, and I think that's a great way to not only expand your culinary knowledge, but also give you a bit of inspiration. I found myself doing a bit more cooking, not as much cooking as our good friend Terry Dolan. He is going absolutely crazy cooking. Very jealous of that boy's talent, but I am doing a bit more cooking, which is nice. Also a lot healthier. Seeing as though how I've been eating so much throughout the whole quarantine, I was certain that I had gained, a couple of pounds. I dug out my scale out of all the boxes that I have, and I've gained no weight. I've stayed completely steady through all of this, which is both a blessing and a curse. Yeah, let's see what everyone's saying. Nathan, Greg, Jason, Patrick, Dan, welcome in. Uh, so what did we do? Jason went up to Crowded Barrel and picked up a few bottles. Perfect. Very jealous. Nathan didn't do much. He had dinner with a Muslim neighbor. Did you have traditional food from that part? I'd be curious. You're a big foodie, so I'd love to hear your opinion. Scotty's been baking and is doing them in apparently. I really want to start baking. I went for a long walk today in the hunt for some yeast and could not find any. Both barns completely sold out. The two grocery stores I went to sold out. I'm gonna have to learn how to use the yeast, like the wet yeast that comes in like the squares. Apparently, I have to be a little bit more knowledgeable, but I think I'm gonna have to, learn if I'm gonna want to bake. So yeah, Nathan says that he the food was from Qatar, lamb, flatbread, dates, some Iranian chai. Nice. Yeah, baking something that I don't want to get into. I want to make a sourdough. Sourdough and biscuits, which coincidentally I saw last night on the Chef Show. Jean Favreau was apparently really, really good at it, and he made it on the show. One of the episodes, I think it was the third last episode of season 3. But that was good. Hey, Dan's gonna dip out for a little bit. Yeah, if you guys are wondering what's around my neck, it's a beer holder, the beer necklace that I got in Munich a couple years ago when I was there for the Strong Beer Fest. It's like the spring, like early spring, late winter festival of like equivalent of Oktoberfest. And Yeah, they were giving these out, and so I obviously picked one up, and I was walking around Munich with a beer almost all the time. So cheers, everyone. Yeah, so let me get the the link out to you guys if anyone is wanting to come on the stream with me, hang out for a bit. And yeah, I've done a little bit of additions to the back. I moved my computer over just a little bit. I'm gonna do like signs and stuff like this. It might be hard for people to see. You can see a little bit there. I'm gonna come up with something to kind of like incorporate that. I hung a little Japanese little thing there that I got in Mount Fuji. Actually, it wasn't Mount Fuji. It was Hakone. Bought it in Hakone, which is near Mount Fuji. Mount Hakone, Hakone. Hakone is a city, and then the mountain, I believe, is Mount Hakone. We stayed there, and at the top, you take a ski lift up to the top, and you just have the whole valley leading up to Mount Fuji. And that we'll talk about being surprised. You know, you see the pictures and stuff like that, but when you're there and you see just how huge this mountain is, it was unbelievable. Yeah, crazy. Fuck, I want to go back to Japan. There was a period of time where I was actually planning on moving to Japan. I was looking into a couple of things, you know, how I can do it, what I would do. I had some friends living in Kyoto. They're not living there anymore. They've since come back to Canada. But yeah, that was a 70% highly considered thing. That made no sense. But I was gonna move to Japan. Yeah, it's beautiful there. And yeah, enough reminiscing. So this week we changed the time. I changed the time to 4 for these things. I figured doing them a little bit later, maybe get a couple more people involved. I know there's a couple of guys that I think it was Steve. Steve, I think, finishes work around 5:30. So if we go long, Steve A would be able to join in, and yeah. So a little bit later. It also gives me a little more time during the day when it's warmer right now, especially right now, to go for walks. I went for a nice long walk today. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Well, a lot of fun. Shit, how fucking fun can walking be? It was just nice to go out. It's really sunny outside. A touch windy, but very comfortable. And yeah, it was good. It was good to get a walk out. My knees are starting to hurt now just because I haven't done this much walking in years. Easily years. But in due time. So Nathan, he can help with biscuits. Semi-foolproof. I mean, it's semi-foolproof, so really, I'll fuck it up somehow. For sure. Excuse me 1 second, guys. I need to take the autofocus off of the camera. It always pops back up, and it really upsets me when it is. Where is it? There we are. Greg was doing some blending. Blending with whiskey or blending with other things? And yeah, Nathan, definitely will hit you up for that, for the biscuits and sourdough. Just gotta wait for. Oh shit! It's right over there. God damn it. Love when I'm prepared. Autofocus off. There we are. Oh no, it's froze. Hold on, guys. All right, Greg was blending whiskey. What was your favorite blend there? And that's my back. And we're back. Greg, what were you blending? If you want to, if it's easier, you're more than welcome to come on and kind of give us a rundown of your whiskey blending experience. If not, just pop it in the chat. Going back, I guess, just to the blending aspect. I haven't been doing very much of it lately. My collection's dwindling, though I did do a nice pickup of whiskey that had been in the hands of a good friend of mine, Dave. I had half a bottle of the Nick Offerman Lagavulin to pick up, as well as Alberta Premium Cask Strength and the 3rd edition Lot 40 Cask Strength. I believe it's 3rd edition. And a bunch of samples. He was more than generous. I got some Blackadder 17-year Lecheg, Talisker 15. I believe it's cask strength at 57.3. Some Eau Claire single malt, some Cragganmore, 12 peated cask strength, Peat Week, Big Pete Christmas Douglas Lang, Highland Park Trillium, Kilkerran 8 sherry, and Kilkerran heavily peated. And yes, Scotty, thank you for the Lot 40. I'm almost positive I reimbursed you for that. I have to check my records, but let me know if I did. I'm almost positive I did, but let me know. Jason did a blend of Clynelish 14 with Royal Brockla 12 and Kalila 12. Tastes like a smoky pineapple, but I've never been able to recreate it. That's I gotta write that down. And we're gonna bring in Greg. What's going on, buddy?
Not much. How's it going?
Good, man. Good. Ooh, that's a weird background. Give me a second. So yeah, how's your weekend, man?
It's going good, or it was good. I finally got to some blending. What I was blending is I had gotten one of those WhistlePig blending kits.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've seen those going around.
Yeah, so I got on one and I did a total of 4 different blends. Did a 5th one in an kind of like impromptu collaborate, or I was watching one of the it's Bourbon Night streams, and they were doing blending as well.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did one of the blends that they had done. It was a slight alteration on one that I suggested. I've let them sit now for close to about a day. I haven't noticed them just yet as far as letting them sit. But the one that I had suggested to them, and it was real strange because I had gotten orange dreamsicle basically on it.
Love orange creamsicles.
And that was 40. No, what was it? 50 wheat, 30 rye, and 20 barley.
And this was all just WhistlePig products, right?
Yeah, so all WhistlePig.
Yeah.
Yeah, suggestions as far as using each one, as far as like with rye, I think it was like no more than 80%. With the others, it was no more than 60. So I kind of played around with it. I started off with going up to 80. They were suggesting 10 milliliter blends. So I was starting off with 40 in each one, just to get an idea as far as which ones will work best as far as having a main base of the wheat, the barley, and the rye.
Right.
And from there, I just played around with the wheat, and that's the one that I got an orange dreamsicle. The other ones, it was basically different variations on, I would say, like a apple tart that I was getting.
Okay. Yeah, I wish we got some of that up here. Just wish it was easier to get stuff like that up here.
Right. Yeah, I was surprised that New Mexico had qualified for it, because we're a pretty small market when it comes to whiskey anyway, so we don't get that much.
That's fair, yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, Jason's jealous, and Patrick says that sounds delicious. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've mentioned it numerous times now over the past couple of weeks, but my favorite blend still that I've ever made was Talisker 10 and Lefroy Quarter Cask.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, 3-1. 3-1, Talisker being the dominant pour. Yeah, it's like a smoky apple pie.
The one that I was wanting to try again is, I have the Talisker House Greyjoy. I've done a 50-50 blend with Kilkeegan. The smokes were very different, and I forget what I got, but it was pretty interesting. I'm wanting to try it again, but try different ratios as far as like a little bit more Kilkeegan compared to the Talisker.
Yeah, because I remember you mentioned that months ago, that blend. Yeah, I love Kilkeegan's so good. Love Kilkeegan.
And I actually got to bottle my store's pick.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought it was just a distillery tour. Then when we actually gotten up there, like after the tour was done, like, all right, we're going to do some bottling.
Sign me up.
Right.
So what's the weather like in New Mexico right now? Make me jealous. Because it's probably nice and warm.
It is. Let's see. It is currently 86 degrees. No, 77. My bad.
Excuse me 1 second. 77 degrees Fahrenheit and Celsius. 25 degrees Celsius. That is lovely. That is a perfect temperature.
It is, and it's not too windy.
Nice. I don't know freedom units. I only know Canuck Celsius. So.
Oh, you crazy Canucks.
I have a rough idea. I was like, it's probably like 18, 19. I was only off by like 7 degrees.
Yeah, my dad had gone to school with a bunch of Canadians. So that's what he always called them, crazy Canucks.
That we are.
But they were all hockey players, so kind of makes sense.
They're even crazier.
Yeah, two of them are actually, well, one's more well known than the other, but Doug Lidster and Dave Feemster are two of his classmates.
Not too sure. Names don't ring a bell. I'm not a big hockey fan. Fan.
Right.
I'm a bad Canadian. I have two out of the 3 qualifications for being a Canadian. I say sorry too much, and I drink maple syrup right out of the bottle. The third is watching hockey. I don't watch hockey, so.
I try and catch as much as I can, but I usually end up missing it because of work. But that would have been a nice time since I'm out of work, but there's no sports.
There's no sports, exactly. Me and my roommate, well, he's huge on a lot of sports: basketball, baseball, hockey, football. I'm mainly into like NHL football, American football. And so when we were moving in, we're like, okay, well, should we get a cable package, like to go along with our internet? And we're both like, well, it's sort of like a weird part of like the calendar year where there's not a lot of like sports going on. It's like really it was just hockey, baseball starting up. It would have been starting up now, just like the training camps and everything. We were like, okay, well, let's just wait, and we'll just upgrade our package later. I'm like, okay, cool. We move. The 2 weeks before we move in, all the COVID stuff started happening, all the shutdowns of all the sports leagues. Right. And we're like, well, at least we didn't get cable. We're not paying for nothing. Right. So yeah, it's just a pain in the ass because would have been a nice distraction at the very least. But it makes sense that they're all shut down. Although you'd almost think that like sports like golf, which is pretty like socially distanced already. Like you don't need people in the stands to play golf,
right?
Right. Like feasibly, you could still, do golf tournaments.
Yeah.
Tennis, right? Curling's a no-go. I would say. What else? What other sports? Racing, NASCAR, Formula One. Oh, actually, no, you can't because of the pit crews.
Yeah,
that's right. Bowling.
Yeah,
bowling and darts. Have you ever watched a dart tournament on TV?
I have not.
Oh my god! When this all, you have to. I highly recommend watching a dart tournament. I've never seen a crowd go more crazy than people in a dart crowd. It is unbelievable. Oh, bowling requires high fives, Dan says. Darts doesn't, though. Oh my god, yeah, man. Like, I couldn't believe with the first time I was watching a dart tournament. And I'm going, what is wrong? What is wrong with these people that are losing their minds over a guy?
180.
Hi, man.
140. Yeah, they go nuts. They have cheerleaders in dart fucking games, man. It's nuts.
People in the crowd with signs.
Oh yeah, they're going berserk, man. There's like it's like a WWF wrestling match, man.
Yeah, it's a sight to be had.
Yeah, it's bonkers, man. Dude, darts in my little town is a big thing.
God damn it, fucking Georgetown.
Have you never played like on a dart team?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
You're just so Italian, you refuse to do anything like that, eh?
No, I'm into the Gettoni.
Oh yeah, my buddy has the and it's embarrassing that I can't remember the name.
Tabletop soccer for
football. It's tabletop football. Yep, this is a great time publicly. Let's fight over football right now on this wonderful break that people are getting from their stressed out days.
Then I will make sure and stock your house.
Look at my desk right now. Like I'm literally trying to see how much stuff I can stack on it.
Hey, listen, as long as it's clear for Thursday night, you're good.
Has anybody what's everybody like? I know a lot of people that have been going through their collections, kind of cataloging or reorganizing. I know you've been taking care of low bottles like the Dickens.
Yeah. Well, I was not anymore. I don't have any low bottles anymore.
Anybody reconfiguring or building new storage or making more shelf space? Greg, you making more shelf space, buddy?
I've been trying to, but I barely have any low bottles because I really don't drink all that much. Because I was usually busy at work, and when I would get off, I would just want to go to bed. So I mean, I still have a few bottles that I'm still trying to take care of. Finally made a dent in my Basil Hayden,
Nice.
and I think I should polish off my Dewar's Highlander Honey since that's not really whiskey.
I mean, does it taste good? Like, subjectively away from everything else.
For what it is, it's pretty nice because you get a nice amount of that honey.
Yeah.
And it is 40%. So I mean, technically, it is a whiskey.
That's not bad. And what is who makes it?
Dewar's.
Oh, Christina, you have no idea what's going on in my hair. When I don't have when I just wear a hat and stuff and there's no product in my hair, it's completely unruly. It's nuts. I look like I always say this. I look like either Kid and Play or somebody from the background of Back to the Future 2.
I was gonna say you look like you belong in like a late '90s Blink-182 music video.
Early 90s, like funky hip hop, Kid and Play. It's like Sinbad House Party. I'm one of the guys in the background partying.
So which haircut is better, Dan's or Rex's?
Rex is definitely better.
Awesome. Rex totally takes the cake.
I can't believe it's so fucking good.
Yeah, I can't see the chat because I'm on my phone.
Here, I'll put it up then.
Yep, pineapple is valid. In fact, so valid. Like, let's go ahead and compare.
You should do brushwood spikes.
Brushwood spikes would be great on you. Christina says that you look like someone stuffed a wet Furby on your head.
Yeah, I'll take wet Furby too. Where was all this when I was inviting people to make fun of my hair the other night?
More people watch this than our normal streams.
Jesus.
Or maybe what is it? That
well, at least more people
with a mohawk. You could look like that.
Yeah, the mohawk. When I do the mohawk, it looks all right. Like, it looks decent, like it's an actual haircut. But when I'm not, like, I just took my hat off.
Patty B's in the house.
Damn, you are quick on that.
Patty B, yeah, he's pretty good for adding in.
Now that I have all my screens set up properly, like, it's really easy.
Ooh, hold on here.
Sit on the screen and do this.
Hold on here. I'm gonna try to give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get rid of that fucking glare in the back.
Christina says she's going to shave her head next week. Please don't. Well, do whatever you want.
It feels so nice.
She's gonna. I have a feeling she's gonna shave like the side of her head.
Do you remember that picture that she showed a while ago?
Yeah.
And she said, "Yeah, I think she's doing something like that." Christina,
Yeah.
at least I think you are, or whatever. It was probably a couple months ago, but it looks good, and I think you could pull it off big time. But it just feels good. It's so nice. Like, you're not sweating when you're sleeping and all that jazz. Like, I wish I had long hair. Anybody that knows me will tell you that I've always wanted long hair, but I can't get past the stage where I look like the old Johnny Depp in Blow. Like, at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It's like raw. It's the weirdest structure ever. It's like puffy at the top. I'm telling you, it is the weirdest hair you've ever seen.
See, like, I wish that I still had, like, my hairline used to be freaking down here. Like, I have like a Vegeta. If you get any anime fans, like, I have a Vegeta. Widow peak.
Like Costanza.
And I'm working in from a Widow's Peak. It's gonna be a Costanza soon.
Yeah, hey. I kind of get that.
Yeah, but at least Dan, you can grow it. Now's the time to grow it. Because like I miss my long hair. Like, when I had long hair in high school and university, like when it was past my shoulders, I fucking loved it.
I just sweat too much, to be honest. Like
It takes a
I'm
while
not-
to get used to.
No.
I used to have it in high school, a little bit of college. That's.
It does get pretty hot during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Does it stay like that?
What are you trying to do, Dan?
I'm trying to sit my phone somewhere where I don't have to fucking hold the thing.
That's always good until it falls and it makes a loud thumping noise. I had that problem. Sprite, you're not even drinking booze. What the
Back
hell?
in high school, I had short hair. I just sent Vito a pic.
Oh, geez.
So what happened to you last week? You poured an ounce,
Damn.
Daniel, and then you took off on us. You just disappeared.
Where did
Yeah.
you go?
Kind of sketchy. So right around this time, Dwyer's supposed to be done work, but due to the nature of her job, there's no real there's no end time. She could be working all night. So I think that I'm free, but then she could have to get called in to start doing something and get onto the computer, and then all of a sudden I've got the 6-year-old spawn of Satan on my hands.
Yeah. That would be spawn of you. So are you Satan?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I won't throw any lies over that.
You have a few notches in your belt. That's
I've been to
okay.
garden over at Granny's. I'm now fully ready to till and throw in a bunch of guanos and
Guano.
guano.
Bat poop?
Most bird poop is called guano.
All right.
Bat poop is definitely called guano, but generally in the fertilizer world, I use seabird guano.
Is that
Um,
ideal guano for fertilization?
It is an ideal guano. Has lots of nitrogen. Great for those leafy greens. Great for the early growth in a lot of fruiting and flowering plants. And then later in the season for those fruit and flowers, you want some stuff with a bit more phosphorus, more potash derived stuff.
Now that you mention it, I remember that from being in Peru when we went out by some island that was owned by the birds. They would actually harvest the guano on the little island out there. That's all it was used for.
Yeah.
So,
And areas where there is lots of that, like in Newfoundland, where there's a lot of super rocky shores and islands would seem really uninhabitable for plants. Not a lot of root space, not a lot of soil, but the soil that is there is super rich because of all of the poop over the years. It breaks down. It's just super healthy stuff. So you see that really vibrant, really dark, super green grass and foliage on those islands because of the concentrations of guano. Welcome to Gardening with Guano.
Poop is a powerful thing.
mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna really try and bump the gardens up this year, big time. It's gonna be a good year for it, I think.
Are you just
I'm
growing? Sorry, go ahead.
No,
No.
go you go.
See, that's what makes me Canadian too. So what are you growing? Just I was gonna say just flowers or actual food?
Pure food.
Food? Okay, cool.
I do have some flowers because wild plants that do need to be pollinated, like your tomatoes and all of that jazz, peppers, they do put off flowers to attract pollinators, and they can get some pollen in that. I still do have a significant amount of flowers around to bring more of those pollinators into the yard. And bees are super important for a multitude of reasons. I'm sure everybody does know if bees cease to be around, there's a massive chain of events that would really suck.
Yeah.
So I'm big on feeding the bees and the pollinators and attracting them to the yard. I have a few of the pollinator gardens that's just basically bamboo and other things all stacked up. So there's lots of homes for that type of stuff, bumblebees and whatnot. But the bulk of everything I grow is edible. 99% of everything that I grow is fruits or vegetables. I've got a few fig trees that I've had that are about 6 or 7 years old now.
Oh, Oh,
I've
figs.
got tons of berries.
Those are awesome.
I do lots of tomatoes, lots of peppers, potatoes, lots of winter squash, a few zucchinis, cucumbers, the whole shebang.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tap you for some knowledge because I want to get a big planter box. Actually, I'll show you where I want to put it if this will work.
Yeah, are you south facing?
I am south facing.
Beautiful.
I want to put it right in that corner there of the. So that's southeast facing there.
Yeah, that's
obviously that's too bright.
really- Yeah, you could grow a ton of stuff out there, dude. I would recommend putting 2 planters that I probably have for you that will hang on the inside of your rail. Because the worst case scenario, you don't want a planter falling from your balcony.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I was actually thinking of making like an actual wooden box for the floor.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
having like 2 or 3 tiers of things, if that makes sense.
Things.
Yeah, things. The things are on the bottom shelf. It's the
I
last
was actually warned about that. I was like, oh, can I put like a planter box out there, like for herbs and stuff? And they're like, what kind of herbs? And I was like, parsley and basil and oregano. And they're like, oh, okay, good. That stuff, sure. And I was like, oh, okay.
You can. There's absolutely. It's completely and utterly legal for you, even in that scenario, for you to grow. It's just as legal as growing a tomato in any scenario, and that does include the Landlord-Tenant Act. So as much as they want to say they can stop you or whatever, they literally can't. There's no guidelines to prevent that in place.
I'm loving how Dan's up on the info.
You know, and that's your prerogative. You don't want to create friction. I totally am on that side, but for what it's worth, there's no recourse for them.
Well, here's the thing: it's like if I were to grow, I wouldn't be able to smoke it anyways. I'd have to go off. I'd have to go off property, and that's just a pain in the ass.
Sorry, I missed that last part.
No, I'm just saying, like, even if I did, like, I'd have to go off property to smoke. Right, like
He can eat it. He'd have to make cookies.
Yeah, dude, bake it up, make some butter.
I'm not good at baking. It's too precise. I'm better at just on the fly cooking.
Yeah, it is very chemistry like.
I am not good at precision, as I'm sure everyone knows by now.
I am at 3% battery, gents.
How are you always dying?
Yeah, I don't know. He comes on for like 5 minutes, drops some knowledge, and just takes off. It's legal to grow on your balcony. See you guys later.
Later.
Leave on your balcony. Peace.
Fucking guy.
But no, if you're doing the whole tear like tiers, you can do like the whole terrace thing. There's a couple places here that will, whatever you grow on the top, like the nutrients will filter down. You can have like a tube, so you water the top, and all the nutrients go down to the next level. Level. So each one kind of feeds the next level going down, which is pretty cool. But
right,
it gets extra nerdy on that as well too. But
yeah.
So I'm drinking something. One of the whiskeys I sent to you, I found like an extra bottle of it.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm going to apologize right now for the tops on these bottles. I got them thinking they were going to be ultra safe because they were child safety, but they are a bitch to get the top off of.
You know what? Brad's are too. I don't know if you've caught the last stream or two, but I was opening up his because he has like the 4 ounces.
Yeah.
And like I have a hard time opening them up, and I'm on stream trying to struggle. It's like, fucking Brad. And then they're giving me the gears because it's like, oh well, it's childproof, and you're a child. It's like, yeah.
It's hindered me more than like on a couple occasions where I was like, we're just gonna have this, and like 5 minutes later I'm like, fuck it, we're trying this other one. Go back to it and it comes off like a dream. Like, I do not know what my problem was.
I just poured myself some Joseph Magnus.
Oh, nice.
Never had it.
I'm still trying to decide on what I think of it. It's interesting because this one's their triple cask finish. So straight bourbon finished in sherry and cognac casks.
So I was gonna ask, and like I know they had one in a cognac, and I have one downstairs. I just haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, this one I actually got from one of my regulars because he was telling me about it, and to Phil of it that he really didn't care for it, and he asked if I wanted it, so I said sure.
Yeah, never turned down a free bottle.
Right?
They come around so rarely.
Yeah, like there was one. It was a damaged bottle at work, and the vendor had asked me if I wanted it, so I said sure. It was a
What was it again? We cut out for a second.
Hudson Baby Bourbon.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a fan of it. It's a corn bomb.
That's fair. At least you can say you don't like stuff. I find it amazing how some people just like everything. Every now and then I'll roll onto something, and other people like it, but I'm like, fuck no. Like, this is atrocious.
I'm usually pretty generous, and I'll say that. I won't blatantly say that I don't like it. I'll tell them it's good for what it is, but it's not my first choice.
There hasn't been many things where I've said I can't drink this. I always try to find why I would want to come back to drinking it. Like, is there something here that would make that I enjoy, and I kind of focus on that.
Or is there something? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. And the only times where I find myself completely just at odds with my whole sort of philosophy around whiskey is when I'm drinking generic Canadian whiskey. Canadian Mist, Alberta Premium, Crown Royal. I like the base Crown Royal, not like the Harvest Rye or anything like that. All the base Canadian, the shitty Canadian stuff, like the legit shitty Canadian stuff that we all talk about. That's all the stuff that I just can't find anything good about. The only thing they're good for are in mixers, and that's, you know, like at a wedding where it's a paid bar, not an open bar.
I'll have a Crown and Coke.
Crown and Coke, Crown and ginger. Like that's essentially like what I will only drink them as. I'm going to be drinking all the shitty stuff that Brad sent me, but I'm doing that on the After Dark streams because that's all they're worth, is to be drank and then the stream get deleted immediately.
Yeah. Well, on some of them, we try to figure. I try to figure out, like, maybe there's something you could be doing. Like, maybe you guys could use a bigger cask. You know, like trying to be an advisory committee. Though honestly, I should be.
It's because there's this odd continuity between all of them, of like this odd dank medicinal smell and taste that is like a stale baby's diaper, not a used diaper, just an empty old ass locked in a closet for 18 years baby diaper.
Oof.
And I want to attribute it because I found it in a bunch of like random whiskeys, and even like the Gooder Hemming Worts 4 grain that I have. It's good, but there's still that twinge of like typical Canadianness in there, and I feel like it's to do with the fact that a lot of them are, because of Canadian laws, they're all distilled separately and then blended in together, and I feel that's where things go wrong for some reason.
You feel like there's one place that's fucking up, don't you? There's like one distillery that you'll find and be like, this is the place I hate. You've been fucking up all Canada's whiskey for all this time.
It would be them. Nate's coming in.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
How's it going?
That would be an interesting show if you get like single releases from different distilleries to try to hunt out what one is the dank, funky one that's screwing up all the blends.
Oh, and then just put them on blast and just be like, you bastards.
They're probably the biggest one, just to fuck with everything.
Or maybe get that distillery to commit to doing just its own thing. Like, this is baby diaper whiskey. They could just buy into it the way that Isla Whiskey has bought into being Petey Funky.
What's a
It
would be Pampers. What would the whiskey equivalent of Pampers be?
I don't know.
I'm not a parent yet, so I don't think I'm qualified to answer that. Give me like 3 months, and then I think I'll be able to give you a definitive. This is what you should call that thing.
I don't know. I don't have that. Are we talking used diaper, or
No. It's
Okay.
always unused diaper, unused old diaper.
wow? Yeah, that's a weird stale note that I don't want to put my yeah.
I mean, if you've ever had Canadian Mist, if you ever had,
I've had that. Brad made everyone cheers at his event, and I've had it once or twice since then.
You've thankfully for yourself, you've forgotten that flavor. So
Yes. Well, you try to, it's not like you keep that in your repertoire. I mean, when it comes back, it's like that flash from a, traumatic experience. It comes back at you.
that's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's not fun. Don't worry. You know what, Patrick? Next time you're up here, I'll hook you up.
I'll be right back.
With some Canadian Mist. I'm so excited.
Just Canadian Mist or Crown Royal, 40 Creek, Alberta Premium, anything with that dang diaper smell. You get hooked up.
I might look next time I go to a store. I'll see if I have, one of those. Besides Canadian Mist, I'm not going to go back to the well on that, but I'll look for some other stuff. We'll see. We might have it around here.
Alberta Premium, anything base, anything that says just like Canadian whiskey at 40%. That's just like no
Canadian Club count.
Yeah, Canadian Club counts. Yeah.
Ooh, I think I might have some of that in the basement that I have not touched in a long time.
That's where it belongs.
It's hidden away, and yeah, maybe I might have that.
So we were asking earlier before you came on stream or even in the chat, Patrick. What did you do this weekend? Fun? Did you do anything fun with the kid, with the wife?
Yeah, it was decent out yesterday. So I mean, played in the backyard, got his little trampoline up, and he had a blast. So I don't know. We went to a few different. We didn't really go to a park or anything like that because then he just bitches about not being able to go on the playground and stuff. So it's
Right.
like it's inviting yourself to have an argument. So the one day we did go to a park that has an awesome hill, and I just tried to run the shit out of him. Like, let's run up this hill. Let's run down the hill. Let's just try to wear him out. And like, maybe he'll take like a 2.5 or 3 hour nap this afternoon and I'll get stuff done. We got back in an hour and a half and he was up, boom, ready to go. And I'm like, God damn it. Oh no, you're not sending me any of that, Christina. That's just not.
Christina, Patrick wants some Canadian Mist.
If I have to, I'll just go get a sample bottle from the store. She doesn't need to waste money on that. 99 cents over like $7 in shipping. Just maybe I'm looking at some of the other stuff. I'll have that. We'll try to hunt down this baby diaper flavor.
If you go to Austin, I'll get you some there.
That's the last place I want to have some bad whiskey. Is go down to Texas and then have some bad whiskey when I'm done.
You're so close to so much goodness, and then you're going to go fucking.
Yeah, man, especially down here in the hill country, man.
You probably have a 175, Christina.
Christina, I think Christina, the tribe's in need of a wedding sacrificial video that includes a jug of Canadian Mist.
Yeah. You guys can use swords and kill another one. I mean, that's a good sacrifice.
I feel like a fire sacrifice is in order.
Ooh. Maybe add some 151 around it just so it gets some good flare up. I used to drink that and I used to spit fire with that. So it's you just have to be a little careful. Just make sure you don't get any on you. Or The one time I was doing it at a party, someone slapped me on the back as I had like a huge mouthful on like both cheeks and was about to like blow it out. I was so hammered in like 45 minutes. Like I had maybe 6 shots in
my
my mouth at
God.
that point, and I had been drinking
Wow.
already. And I was like, boom, and swallowed it all. That was not good. That was not good later on. It just it came at me. I didn't get sick, but I was I guess I was stumbling a tad at that moment.
Well, I don't have too many Canadians on hand, but I was going through some of my old stuff and found a bottle of Lord Calvert.
That's something at least. Ooh. God, this is a little bit rye. I'm betting this is the one that Ed likes the most. Sorry.
It's okay. And do I have a sample of that?
Yeah, it's the Regatta rye. It
Oh,
has.
don't tell me these things, Patrick. I don't know what they are.
You'll forget. I need a couple weeks before we have like a Friday off.
You are correct. I will forget.
I would forget. Like I'm more like you. I just like enjoy doing it. So like I'll come back 2 weeks later. I had this, and I was like, if it wasn't fantastic, I'm like, oh, this is a new surprise. And they're like, you had it a couple weeks ago. I'm like, well, I still like it.
I still haven't tried the Regatta. I got a sample of that from you. Ben sent me 6 and 20 heirloom rye, and I think you sent me another one too, Pat.
He probably sent you the limousine. The 6 and 20 is
Blam Brothers.
Oh, the Baum Brothers. Yeah. Theirs is neat. Theirs is a little bit different than other people's. We'll have them on in a couple weeks, but the 6 and 20 is crazy because it's like distilled 5 times. Like
what?
Yeah, it's distilled 5 times, and it still has that type of flavor on the inside. So we were talking about what would it be like if it was only 2 or 3.
Oh my God.
And we had no clue because 5 is a little excessive.
Yeah, that's like approaching vodka distillation, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's got a decent flavor for what it is. Like had you said that, you wouldn't have guessed that. Of course, you probably would never guess that anyways.
No.
You just would have been like, it's a little bit of a weak rye or something. But no, that was pretty interesting.
I always assumed that like Irish whiskey, like Irish blend distillation had the most distilling runs. I would never have thought that someone would do more than 3.
Me either. I mean, I've heard of plenty of 3s, but like 5 is kind of insane. But that's just what we said. I'm like, I wonder what it would be like.
I didn't catch any of that. It got choppy for a second.
Oh, Vito was just saying that he hadn't heard of too many going beyond 3, like even in an Irish. And I'm like, I get that.
Because
right.
Any more than 3 are stripping away all the grain characteristics, which is what you want in the whiskey.
Yeah.
Well, it's like an heirloom rye that they brought back from like almost the edge of extinction. So it's got like a weird, I don't want to say weird, but it's got a decent flavor, but it would be neat to see it be bolder than what it is. So we were talking about going to the distillery and being like, can you guys, cut like a 375 off when you're doing it at, a distillation of 3. And even if it's like White Dog, like at, 3 and then one at 5, so we can taste the difference between them.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because you would assume that the 5-time distillation is a conscious choice.
Totally.
Oh yeah.
It totally is. I'll be back in a minute. But I gotta jump off. I gotta go run and pick up the boy. He's spending some time with Grandpa, which doesn't sound right, but Grandma and Grandpa took a really good approach to the whole thing beforehand, and they don't see anyone, so they're actually okay to go see him rather than being like kind of crazy. I just want to preface that we're not being assholes with our kids.
Yeah. No, I feel you, Patrick.
And I gotta get ready for tonight. So we'll see you guys later.
Take it easy, man.
Right.
Oh, well,
Later,
Patrick. I guess for anyone watching that doesn't already know, whoever's watching like on replay before the end of Monday night, what's going on tonight on your channel?
Tonight we are having Peter Naumann. He is the owner of and distiller at Northern Waters Distillery. It's here in Wisconsin. It's up by Minocqua. It's like a kind of a touristy town. Think like kind of Great Outdoors, but maybe like a couple tiers up in class as far as the town goes. But he's doing some interesting stuff. And then we are having this weekend on Saturday. We're doing a weird Saturday stream, but we wanted to fit Mark in from Silver Fox before he goes back to work and is working like 18, 20-hour days, which would be totally shitty. So we're going to have him on Saturday and Colin Keegan on next Monday from Santa Fe Spirits, which is Cole Keegan.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited for that.
Nice.
Yeah. So got a couple things in the works, and then there's one Friday where we're going to have Steve and Andrew Card on. We're going to do a wrestling and whiskey stream. So we want everyone to come over and bring up like great moments in wrestling history that you remember.
Oh, yeah. I got a couple of those late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll pop you into the stream, tell your historical thing the way you remember it. And maybe at the end of the night we'll rank them or do something fun, whatever. We're just going to get drunk and have a good time.
I already know the moment. I already have it up here. I already know.
Well, most people do. I have like 2 or 3 that I remember that are pretty memorable, and most people are pretty kind of closet wrestling fans, or at least at some point in their life
At some
had some affinity to it.
You're into it, and then you go out of it, and then you come back, and then you're in and out. Yeah. I'm that guy.
I am too. And there was one guy that I remember was he was the Hurricane. It was totally the goofiest thing ever. If you remember,
yeah.
He played. Yeah, he played like a street reporter for the WWE, and then he wrestled as the superhero, the Hurricane.
Yeah,
and he was not very good, and it was fucking hysterical. Like I thought he was great. There was like one time he tried to choke slam The Rock and Austin at the same time. And I was like, oh, this is memorable for me. I'm like, he's like, and he couldn't get him up. And I'm like, it would have been hysterical if they both would have jumped and let him do it, And I'm like, but it was an awesome joke gag to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And Jason's right, Andre the Giant. He's got a lot of them from when I was a kid. So,
yeah.
I mean, just the size of him. His hands were ridiculous. I remember him holding a beer can and it looked like a fucking thimble.
Well, when he choked Mean Gene Okerlund in that interview, his hand is like essentially like his fucking like chest.
And he didn't even put much effort into it. And Mean Gene's just like hopping around. So we got some fun stuff coming up, and then we're working out a time when Vito's going to come on. We're going to go over those samples too.
Yeah,
so we just got to get a night down that'll work, probably like a Friday or Saturday or something, and we'll do that too. So, but you guys all have a good rest of the day. So we'll see you later.
Cheers. All right, so I had some independent Island Star. Should I go Highland or stay in go into Isla next?
I'll say Island.
Island?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I just learned the other day that the islands are considered part of the Highlands. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that it was like kind of its own generic region, but I didn't know that. I learned like technically, geographically, the islands are part of the Highlands.
Yeah, technically. I'm going to open up. I believe this is Talisker 25.
Ooh.
Whoa.
It hasn't been opened yet. I've had this for quite some time. It says Island on it, but I know it's Talisker. I'm pretty sure it's 25. Oh goodness, that's gonna take its own glass.
The one island I've been enjoying is from the Isle of Mull, Lecheg.
Love Lecheg.
My Costco had a 20-year-old cask strength. Absolutely fantastic.
Whoa.
Yeah, same. I have a 2001 Lecheg 17-year-old single hogshead. Cast strength 58.3, and it still has the barrel char.
Yeah, some sediment down there.
In there, right? The Blackadder series.
Oh my God, Blackadder! I don't know that I've ever tasted anything with Blackadder that wasn't like unreal.
Yeah, I've had
Whoever-
it. I've had a small little pour at Daniel's place of the exact same cask because we all went on a bottle split of it. So I finally got my little however much is it. I think this is about
250, 300 mils, maybe.
yeah, something like that. So yeah, looking forward to getting into that at some point.
Yeah, the only time I've had Lacheg is at a Whiskey Tribe meetup, and there was like 40 other whiskeys at the meetup, and so the Lacheg was like, I don't know, the 20th probably whiskey I tasted. So it wasn't. I don't remember it being particularly impressive, but you know, when it's like the 20th thing you've tasted, that's not exactly
Your palate's pretty
fair.
fried anyways.
Yeah.
That's the problem with like the meetups and even going into like the vault if you ever get the chance to do that, or even just to be at the Bastard's Ball with all those whiskeys. It's like after like 4, 5, 6 whiskeys, anything after that you're not really tasting properly. It's so it's oddly counter to sort of how you want to go about tasting whiskeys, especially like in a tasting environment. It's like especially when there's no like construct of like you should have built up in flavor and intensity, and you're like kind of like going all over the place, and unless you're actively trying to pace yourself in like up to the high stuff, you're always gonna end up at that point where it's like you're trying some nice shit and you're not getting really what anything out of it.
Yeah, I mean, even like, dude, at the Texas Whiskey Club Summit at Balcones, so basically we did they did it like basically crowdsourced barrel picks, right? So they had a board that selected 6 barrels, 2, I think it was 2 single malts, 2 true blues, 2 ryes, and basically like everybody got to go in groups and sample the 6, and then pick 1, 2, 3. And man, that was tough. Like we had 10 minutes, and 5 minutes in, you have 6 cask strength whiskeys in front of you, and like you just got to start making notes really quick, making choices really quick. Otherwise, it's just like it all kind of tastes like cask strength whiskey. It's all of it is still got that Balcones character at the core of it. It was just interesting, man. Interesting experience. And then at the end, right, they're like, oh, well, you guys either need to dump what you didn't drink or put it in your Glencairn and take it out of here with you. So then everybody's walking out like bulb deep in their Glencairn, like this much leftover whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah, Christina makes a good point. You have to learn to pace yourself throughout the day. And yeah, that's the thing is like you have to make the conscious effort to do that. Like at this year's Bastards Ball, like I think I did a really good job at pacing myself. I'm not really that great at it usually. I wasn't tipsy at all at any point throughout the day until night hit. And
La Quinta or what?
I say that what?
The La Quinta?
No, well, I wasn't even at La Quinta because after the ball we got invited up to the vault. Like the distillers and some of the YouTube channels got invited up to the vault for a hangout. And then when I got back to La Quinta, I had some more. And by the time I got back to La Quinta, like I maybe spent about, I think 15, 20 minutes in the lobby just saying hi to everybody. I think I may have tasted 1 or 2 things because people come up and like, oh, Vito, you have to try this. And I was like, oh, but I don't want to. Like, I'm not going to enjoy it. Because I turned down so many people that had bottles and said, Vito, you have to try this. I'm like, I am not in any position to be tasting this right now. It's gonna go to waste. Like, just I apologize. Like, give it to someone else that might be able to enjoy it because I don't want to waste it because it's like it's like crazy bottles and it's like honestly like I can't taste anything right now. But like at a festival, like you have a little bit here, a little bit there. You don't just spend like an hour in, especially at the ball. Like you don't spend an hour at what's the hall called? Tuscan Hall,
Yeah.
right? You
Mhm.
don't spend an hour doing every single booth and then walk out of it spinning like there's no tomorrow, right? You go in, have one, walk out, do a walk around, see some people, hang out with some things, go back, have another one, do some,
Mm.
have a water. Yeah, that's definitely something that for me took a lot of time to a lot of effort to like do, but it did end up working out better. But yeah, it's definitely tough when you're drinking a whole bunch of different things, and yeah.
I always make sure to have at least half a glass of water after I have a sample,
Yeah.
Mm,
I don't
that's a
buddy
good
like that.
practice.
and that's why this year I had taken this past year I had taken a Camelback with me, so I had that going
Yeah.
around and helped a lot.
Hmm.
I was gonna do that this year. I was gonna do a Camelback, and then when I realized that I forgot it in Toronto,
Hmm.
I went with the drink one, go back out, do a walk around the property, see some people, go back
Mm.
in, go back out, go back in. The only way to enjoy the whole day, right, without any sort of weird mishaps happening.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Greg, you can probably vouch being in New Mexico, but I mean, down here, man, it's like, man, like, especially you go to the Crowded Barrel or whatever, it's like, dude, like, you can't just be like knocking back a bunch of pours. Like, you got to have some water, or like, man, even at the Crowded Barrel, Richard makes such good cocktails. Sometimes you just want a watermelon smash and like to like hang out and not have to think about what you're drinking. Because I mean, you're trying to drink a cast strength whiskey and it's, 98 in the shade. It's not necessarily like, everybody's cup of tea.
Well, actually, here in New Mexico, it's dry heat, so do have to
Oh,
balance
okay.
out the water. Yeah, little to no humidity here,
Mm.
which I'm happy about.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny when I get people, or when I hear visitors coming in from like Atlanta, they're saying it's too dry here. I've gone through like half a bottle of moisturizer already.
Mm-hmm.
I love the humidity, man. Just my being Southern Italian by heritage, just like I live for the humidity. It's like
I can't stand it.
Now you just need to leave Canada and move to like Corpus Christi, Texas, Vito,
man,
or
like,
Houston.
anything.
Hot and sticky.
It's just like Southern Italy, like in Calabria, where when technically where my father's from, it's never that hot and sticky because he's up in the mountain. His parents' town is up in the mountains, so it's really cool and airy.
Sure.
But my mother's family is down more in the country, lowlands, and it's just like it's a disaster over there. It's just so hot and sticky, and it's like when I went there a couple of years ago, and we were driving, and my father's like, we're rolling up the windows, and I'm just like, no, we're not. Like I want to struggle to breathe. That's
Well, and I mean, Calabria. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they that's like some of the spiciest food in Italy, right? So
yeah,
hot and humid, and they like the spicy food. So
definitely into the spices down south. So, yeah, spices, and like hospitality is definitely like the thing in the south. North is very very snobby, in my opinion, and there's always the battle between the north and south. It's like what's real Italy, south of Rome or north of Rome? If you're north of Rome, you're gonna say the north is better. If you're south of Rome, you're gonna say the south is better.
Yeah, there's a couple here that has a gelato shop kind of south of downtown, and Diletta is from northern Italy. She's from out in the sticks. Like, she grew up in the town where like in the fall, everybody, gets together in the town, helps each other kill their pigs and salt them and hang them in the cave for prosciutto and all that stuff. Ooh. And and so basically like all winter you don't work. You just like hang out and drink wine and eat pork.
Yeah.
Which sounds like heaven, maybe in a certain way to me. But yeah, she's, I don't think she means to be, but she's like pretty pretentious, but not in a negative way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I have a friend who's from around like Lake Como, which is like near the border of Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have a joke with her. I'm like, oh, oh, of course you like cheese. You're Swiss, or of course you like chocolate. Right? You're near you're closer to Belgium, right? It's like because like the more north you go, the more influence you have from the other European countries, right?
Sure.
The south is much more influenced by like North African countries and
Of
like
course, yeah.
whole Mediterranean. Whereas like north is very much more influenced by the more north stuff, and obviously that's where a lot of the animosity comes from. Is like European influences and what benefited traditional and old school Italian culture.
I see. Yeah, I don't know what part of the country Taleggio is from, but Taleggio is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the greatest exports of Italy in the world.
Most likely.
Have you had Taleggio, Vito?
I think it's probably going to be like from Tuscany or something.
It's like soft, gooey, funky cheese.
Bergamo. It's Cuomo. So yeah, Lombardy. So near Milan. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I've had it. Yeah, it's near. It's definitely in north, right? Anything soft is going to be more north.
Sure, French influence in the soft ripened cheese.
Yeah, the south, because of the temperature and the humidity and all of that, it's you're always going to get the harder
cave age. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, I'm gonna get into this Talisker now that it's sat for a while.
You gonna do the Richard Patterson and chew on it for a second for every year it was aged?
No. Woo! That's good.
I thought you were going to reference to washing the glass beforehand.
And you fling it across the room.
I can't. You know what? I fucking can't stand that.
Same.
Right?
Same.
Listen,
yeah.
If I was a millionaire, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be pretentious as shit and fucking swirl an ounce and a half of whiskey and toss it away. Sure, but no, fuck you. I'm not fucking doing that shit.
Right.
Fucking asshole.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't think I would enjoy going to a tasting led by Richard Patterson. I think I would be the jerk that went to jail for punching him in the face.
Well, here's the thing.
Being a CS, I'll leave that at that.
So
the full word for YouTube.
Last Thursday we had a brand ambassador for Beam Suntory on, and he was telling us about the tasting that he had with Richard Patterson, and he said that it was one of the most insane and informative and interesting tastings that he's ever been a part of, just because of the knowledge of people and dates and events that led to certain milestones in Scotch history.
Right.
In from a academic standpoint, I would definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
And also like even if you watch videos, he's got the passion for it, but it would still infuriate me to no end seeing him waste whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, because you talk it up like it's this grandiose thing, whatever, and then you throw it across the room.
Yeah, it's dramatic. It's a showmanship sort of thing. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
He made it because it enhances it, but it's for show. I don't care what he says.
Oh, yeah. He's a salesman.
That is for show, for a reaction. He's enticing a reaction from that, and what are we talking about right now? That's what we talk about. It's like that thing.
Yeah.
What immediately do we think of? We think of Dalmore, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like,
Plus, since he's a master blender, he has thousands of barrels to play around with, so that little bit of whiskey is nothing for him.
It's one of those things where whiskey doesn't have a jingle; they have their reps and their ambassadors, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, that's what we remember. We remember John Campbell. If you've ever been to a Lafroig tasting, you know, with the Scottish with like the Isla hymns and you know, the songs, the sing-songy thing, and obviously like the stories, and that kind of just brings everything back to Lafroig, and then you think Richard Patterson and, you know, his crazy swirl with you know, the copita and just fucking smashing whiskey onto the floor.
Hello, how are you? Fine, thank you. All that BS, right? Yeah. I much prefer God, what's his name? Oh God, why can't I think of his freaking name?
What's the distillery?
Charles McLean. Charles McLean. He helped start the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society.
That guy.
Yeah, with the really nice mustache and wears a monocle when he needs to read things. Yeah, I much prefer his approach. His approach is a little more akin to like wine tasting in a certain way.
Right.
You know, but like he has a couple. There's like a series of YouTube videos from the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society, which is basically like a crash course master class. And so, like, you know, he talks about the whole thing of tasting whiskey blind, and at least in the context of Scotch, you know, based on color, based on, you know, beating when you shake the glass, and how big the bubbles are, how long they last, et cetera, how you can gauge proof, and, you know, whether the cask is active or not, all these things, kind of before you even taste it, you know, why you swirl, how you swirl, what the legs tell you, whether they're thick or thin, all these things. And it's just really enlightening, man.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I'm sort of missing right now is the tastings. That's one definitely. Fuck! Can't wait for this to be over. Yeah, it's gonna be. Although I don't know about you guys, but today our provincial government of Ontario, our premier, he laid out a plan of how the government intends on reopening, not when it's going to be reopened. It's just like when we decide and it's recommended and all the numbers have hit where they need to be. This is the rollout that we're going to go with when to reopen safely and you know, responsibly. Which was really like, you know, at least there's a plan, there's infrastructure in place, at least, which you know, gives you a little bit of you know, it's a little bit of a silver lining that, you know, at least we're going to be approaching it very responsibly.
So nothing like that for us, man. I mean, you know, the annoying orange in the White House says whatever he says, and then it's up to the states, right? And then beyond the states, it's up to cities, right? So mayors have a lot of power. So like here in San Antonio, as of last weekend, the mayor announced that you know, some shops would start opening up again, you know, department stores, things like that, and then that restaurants could begin serving in-house if they so choose to, but only up to X% of their original in-house capacity. Preferably patio seating, not indoors, etc. So yeah, I mean, to my understanding, it's just kind of like whatever the local government decides is kind of the rule, right? But I dare say that what will end up happening here is people are probably going to get a little too gung-ho about it being open, and it's just going to spike stuff. So like I think, what was it, for the last 2 weeks, our numbers for new active cases, the trend is lowering And I think probably with this reopening of things, it's going to shoot up again, more than likely.
There's going to be
Probably.
a second wave unless the numbers reach like near zero.
Yeah, but I know the hospitals here did release statistics that there is like, despite all the active cases, they still have a bunch of like ventilators and so on and so forth that aren't even in use. So the active cases that are in hospital right now aren't really too bad anyway. So yeah, we'll see. But you know,
Time will tell.
the politicians say that summertime will be better because UV rays kill the virus.
Yeah.
They're all scientists, right? They know. They know these things.
The politician. Sorry, the politician.
Yeah. The reality TV star. Yeah.
Yeah, my state was just extended to the 15th.
What's that?
In my state, it was just extended to the 15th of May.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of the stay-at-home order and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So now, are y'all like proper quarantine? Like you can't go out, or like it's okay if you go out for some things?
We can go out for essentials, but not everybody listens. And the other day I had gone to the store and there were a lot of people at the park. I mean, some of them were following that 6-foot distance, but just the amount of people within that area, it was like, okay, that's kind of not the point of the stay-at-home order.
Right.
Then even when I had gone to the store, people were taking their whole family with them. And it's like, no, just send one person, leave the rest at home. Just if you want to bring someone, just change it every single time, but only one.
Yeah.
Not many people are understanding that. And they're just, yeah, it's crazy. And especially at Costco, people would be clogging up the aisles of the food and whatnot. And it's like, okay, there's plenty of room to move about, but you shouldn't be crowding.
Oh, yeah. And my favorite is people, if you're behind them or in front of them, you need to be 6 feet away. But in my experience, if you can be like 2 feet next to somebody and they're fine with that. But if you're behind them, you better be 6 feet behind them. Yeah, Christina's angry about something. Our topic of discussion, perhaps.
Probably.
No, I think it's more to do with like what Greg was saying. People were doing incorrectly. That's like because Christina's in healthcare.
Yeah. Right.
So like when people aren't following guidelines and doing stupid shit like that, it's just like it infuriates it should infuriate everybody. It's like the quicker, like the less you go outside and interact with other people, and if you have to go out, do it responsibly and safely, and wear a mask, not only for yourself but other people around you, but only for the essentials and not for silliness or non-essential things. And the quicker we can potentially get through all of this, and it lessens the burden on healthcare providers, the system, government agencies, and government relief, and all of that. So when people are not, there you go. She even said people not taking social distance seriously pisses me off to no end. It's a case of the people trying to take care of the people with severe illness. So we should all recognize that. It's just unfortunate that it's a minority, but it's always like this. The loud minority always get the attention, especially right now because all the dumb fucking rallies that people are putting on. It's like 0.00001% of the population, but because there's nothing going on, that gets all the attention.
Yeah, of course.
So it's
I can empathize with your frustration, Christina. My little brother's an MA, and so he deals with that crap all the time. Yeah, people show up at the ER because they're feeling this way or that way. Maybe not even coronavirus related, whatever. But bring the whole family to the ER. Nobody has a mask on. kids are sniffling because it's allergy season, wiping their nose, no Kleenex, no hand, it's just, yeah, people are, of course in nature kind of gross anyway. And then this kind of compiles and complicates that a little further. But yeah, it is a bit of a blatant lack of respect to you guys that are on the front lines. Whether you're treating coronavirus or not, you guys are on the front lines.
Yep.
Or they have masks, but it's either down here or they're touching other things.
My favorite is whenever they wear the mask, but only on their mouth. Their nose is open. That's my favorite, man. That's my favorite thing on earth. I say that facetiously, Christina.
They were following just about everything right, but as soon as their phone had rang, they answered, took off their mask, and they were talking. It's like, what's wrong with you?
Oh yeah. I was at Total Wine the other day, and that happened. Yeah, guy has his mask on and everything, and then yeah, he gets a phone call, so he takes it off. It's like, bro, you're still in the store. And man, so the mayor here put out an order that anybody that doesn't have a mask like if you're in your car, you don't have to have a mask on, but if you're like at the store or whatever, you have to. And if you don't, it's a $1,000 fine. Also, supposedly we have a curfew of like nobody out before 8 or after 10. And if you are, because of your work, you have to have a notice from your boss and all that, notarized, yada yada. And the police aren't really even taking it seriously. So as far as the curfew and stuff, there's been over 1,000 like stops that the police have made. Or this is over the course of the week. There was like over 1,000 stops by the San Antonio PD, and only 2 tickets issued.
Wow.
So the cops aren't taking it seriously. The whole face mask order. I can't tell you how few people I see wearing face masks. So I'm sure that that's an equal thing, that the cops aren't really even, finding people and stuff. So, it's, I don't know.
Yeah, because I would have been still working, but because I worked at Total Wine, and since other places are still open, I would have still had a job. But the governor here in New Mexico had closed down all liquor stores. So
that sucks, man. Yeah, Governor Abbott decided that liquor stores are essential businesses. So
yeah, and that's what we're following. But the governor was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to close down all liquor stores.
That sucks.
Because I guess in the rankings, as far as like alcohol sales during the time, we ranked 3rd. Given how small the state we are.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the Prohibition did a great job of teaching America, or should have done a great job teaching America the financial value in liquor stores, because it's taxed at every level, right? Federal, state, local. So economically, it only makes logical sense to keep something like a liquor store open, right?
The problem is, for better or worse, and it's so weird, the picking and choosing of what they want to learn from history. It's never consistent, and it's never taken seriously.
Right.
Like it's just unbelievable how often history repeats itself, but at the same time, how often history is not looked at as a way to ease things that we're currently experiencing.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's fucking stupid. But anyways, whiskey and things. That Talisker 25 was
nice.
Is it more sherry dominant, or is it more clean and bourbon cast dominant?
It's clean. It's clean. It's clean as a whistle, man. Just a nice salty brine, a little bit of like a weird, slightly smoked salmon.
That's a note I've heard often from older Taliskers, that there's like a smoked fish note to it.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm not a huge fan of it, but I know what it smells like, and just that mingled with like the typical. Every time I smell, I have Talisker, I always think of green apples, right? And just like the salmon and the apples mingling together with a little bit of that briny smoke is just wonderful. This is empty, but this is one of those glasses that's gonna be that's gonna just sit here for a couple of hours and just go back to it every now and then just for a nice snack.
Man, so it was on Talisker's Instagram page. I want to say it was like, I don't know, November last year or something like that, but they had they had posted something about it being oyster season, and on what was it, Sky, right, is the island oysters on it's a
Sky.
So being a rocky coasty place, oysters are a big thing, and so they were doing oyster shooters with Talisker. So pop the oyster, little bit of Talisker on it.
A little bit of Talisker. Oh, okay.
That sounds divine.
Right.
See, I was about a 20-minute drive from Talisker. When I was in Sky, I was up in Broadford and I forget the port, but up in northern Sky. Talisker is a bit more south of Sky. And when I was there, I wasn't into whiskey at the time. Otherwise, I was right fucking there. I was right there, and now I regret it. But my time was limited. I had a day, not even a day. I had less than 12 hours in Sky. I drove in at about 9 o'clock at night, and then I left at around 4 o'clock in the afternoon the next day. But I just had a quick just run right up to the Old Manor Store. If you ever seen pictures or heard of it, it's that sort of rock formation that looks like a face.
Okay,
never heard of it.
Yeah, it's glorious up there. I'll see if I can post a link. It was beautiful up there. And I ended up spending about 3 hours at the top of the formation, just sitting there and just kind of like jotting down like notes and thoughts and stuff like that. Oh man, there we go. And just like it's like straight out of like an old sort of like Viking. Where are we? I'll put it up on stream too. Save image.
Yeah, hopefully sometime in the next few years I'll get to hit up the UK.
Right.
Maybe cross and go to France, do some romantic stuff with my lady. Yeah. My it's funny, man. My wife's a little more the type that when we go on vacation, she wants to go do a cajillion things. Like she would just love to do the European vacation, like go to Germany, go to here, da, da, da. And I'm more like let's stay in one place, hang out, like see what everything this has to offer. And so our agreement was we could spend time in Scotland, go to Birmingham, go to London, et cetera, but we had to cross the channel and go to Paris.
Paris is beautiful, dude. Oh my god. Have you ever been?
No, I've never been to Europe.
Yeah. No, man. Paris is a must. It's so gorgeous. So
yes. Gorgeous. So it's funny. I hear the similar things about Paris as I do as New York. Some people, about half the people I talk to about New York say New York is disgusting and nasty, and other people like it's beautiful. And then same thing with Paris. Other people are like, oh, it's gross. And then some people are like, it's beautiful. But man, New York was awesome.
New York, I think, is subjectively awesome. Paris is objectively amazing.
Okay.
Like, there's no around it. There's nothing to hate about it.
Okay.
I was there for 3 days, and it was like the time. I loved it. It was unbelievable.
For me, if I were to plan a trip, it would mostly be planned around food.
Yeah, that was essentially what me and my buddies did. We flew into Paris, went down through the country, down to Nice, across into Monte Carlo, then Milan, Florence, Rome, and then Calabria, and then back up to London to finish the trip. And it was pretty much based all on food. Yeah, but yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely, Paris is a must. I would
So
10 out of 10 go back.
so Christina, New York is gross, but right next to you, so you're in Jersey?
Yeah, she's in Jersey. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, here's the old man store.
Nice.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so there's that little pond in the bottom left corner.
Uh-huh.
That's about a couple hundred meters above everything else. So I was up in the main peak area, the main peak zone there, just
Mm.
overlooking the entire bay for about 3 hours. And
Nice.
like I didn't plan on staying there for that long. But when I got up to the top of it and I just sat down, I just took off all of my gear and just sat there. It was a glorious day, sun, barely a cloud in the sky, and I was like, I'm just gonna sit here for forever.
Yeah, that sounds pretty peaceful. Yeah, Christina, whenever we went like to New York just after the New Year, and it wasn't too crowded. And also, our friends that we stayed with live on, was it Roosevelt Island? It's that weird, skinny little island between, was it Manhattan and Queens, I think, or whatever. So it was like really chill. But yeah, it wasn't as nearly, like, I would say, even a quarter as crowded as I thought it would be.
I thought you were gonna say like Staten Island. I was gonna be like,
No, no, not Staten Island. No, Roosevelt Island. It's this weird, skinny little island, and only people that work at like the medical centers, or for those different like tech companies and stuff, can live there. But yeah, New York is a zoo right now, as you guys probably know, with all the coronavirus and stuff. And our friends that we stayed with actually both got coronavirus and have since recovered.
Nice.
I mean, you got a bunch of people packed in like sardines. It's no surprise that everybody's going to get it, right?
yeah. Graham Young's in the chat. Welcome in, Graham. Nice to
I
have
haven't
you.
been to New York, but when I was in downtown Atlanta, being around those tall buildings and the amount of people, I kind of felt a little trapped because I'm used to here in New Mexico, everything's so open. In a
Yeah.
large city, it's so spread out.
Yeah, I grew up in the rural Midwest, and it's kind of a similar thing for me. You know, I've been in San Antonio now. I've been here for almost 10 years. San Antonio isn't like, your typical big city, though. It's super spread out.
Yeah.
Not a lot of tall buildings, stuff like that.
Vegas.
I haven't really spent much time in Vegas other than the airport.
Yeah, Vegas is like you have the two strips.
Sure.
And it's so sprawling out from the strip that there's like no tall buildings anywhere but the strip. So it's like kind of like if you look at it from like I believe it's the east or west, it's like a middle finger, because it's like the strip is like just buildings and then just housing
like
okay. And it's just all just like sprawled out like in like miles on miles diameter.
Yeah, I would say like my favorite part of New York was probably Brooklyn, because Brooklyn didn't feel like the rest of New York. Not a lot of tall buildings. You can't really even see the New York skyline when you're like in Brooklyn, and it's just like, I don't know. I grew up like listening to a lot of like hip hop. Kind of a '90s kid, right?
Yeah.
So there's just something about being in Brooklyn, and it's like dirty and nasty, and you're just like, oh man, like. I can like in like somehow in the distance I could just hear an LP track like in the back.
Yeah, I get
it. You guys are both laughing like you know who LP is, which makes me really happy.
I'll be right back. Just gotta grab something.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, Albuquerque, it's pretty much spread out. Yeah, it's not too many tall buildings. It's just the downtown area where you have your taller buildings. Then everything is pretty much spread out. That's why if you're wanting to move around Albuquerque at all, you have to have a car. A bike would be fine, but it's just too spread out just to be walking everywhere.
Yeah, that's definitely how it is down here in Texas too, right? I mean, Yeah, I mean, in Austin, it's a bit different. Austin is kind of compact enough you can get by with a bike. But yeah, if you're in Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, San Angelo, basically any other decent sized city, you definitely need a car.
Yeah. The only time I could deal with crowds is during the International Balloon Fiesta.
Oh yeah, that's right. Y'all's balloon museum is super legit, man. Yeah, we went there a couple years ago for Thanksgiving with my in-laws, and yeah, had a great time out there. And that was one of the places my father-in-law was like, we have to go to this place. Very cool, very educational. And they had like NASA hot air balloons and stuff, which was crazy.
Yeah. And it's been a while since I've actually been in the museum itself. I had gone for the grand opening of it. I actually live within walking distance from the balloon park.
Okay.
With the exception of maybe this year, I haven't missed a single year of the Balloon Fiesta in my life.
Oh wow, that's incredible! And yeah, we actually did the Sunrise hot air balloon ride.
Yes.
Which, man, that is so gorgeous. Like some of the best scenery, man. I didn't realize New Mexico was Albuquerque rather was had 3 mountains around it.
Yeah. And I've been on a chase crew. This would have been the 20th year.
Wow. And so did it get canceled this year because of coronavirus stuff, or postponed anyway?
I've heard that it was canceled, but I haven't heard official word just yet.
Okay.
But I figure with the amount of people that it's a once-in-a-lifetime trip that they will cancel it this far out to let people know, like, hey, sorry about this, but it's canceled. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, in one of the towns near me in Iowa, there was a big air balloon field. And so I think it was people that were kind of joining into because it's like a big race that launches from there, right? Or does it finish there in Albuquerque?
Depending on what it is, it's going to be launching.
Okay.
So you have the Great American Balloon or the Great American Balloon Race or something like that. But it's the gas balloons.
Yeah.
They'll take off from the Balloon Fiesta Park and travel as far as they can around the country, depending on the way the winds blow.
Sure.
And they used to have the New Mexico Challenge, which was just you would launch from the Balloon Fiesta, you would load up on however many tanks of propane that you felt that you needed, and you would try and go as far as you can. But yeah.
Yeah, so I think that may have been the one, the North American one that in Iowa they would join in on, because I remember you would just and I grew up an hour south of where this thing started off, and for us we could just look on the horizon and you see balloons coming in this way, and then all of a sudden you see a bunch of balloons just coming straight up, joining the mass. It's a pretty surreal thing to watch.
Yeah, the funny thing is, here in Albuquerque, since it's pretty cool in the morning, there's going to be about 10, 12 balloons up anyway. And for other places, that's a rally for them. Because during Balloon Fiesta, you have hundreds of balloons that are up in the sky before they land, and it's just an amazing sight to see. Yeah, but I've been around balloons my entire life. I feel like an old fart when it comes to describing stuff about the Balloon Fiesta, because I could say, I remember when this dirt was, or when this lot was all dirt. But it's definitely a fun sport.
Yeah. I kind of gave a little bit of a dig to all the people out in Eastern Canada there. Graham, I love you. Just playing it, because he's his province, New Brunswick, has had 0 new cases for the past week. We are physical distancing champs, and I said there's only 8 of you living out east.
That's funny. I have a buddy out in New Brunswick, and yeah, they live in a really small town. I think he said there's only about 300-400 people, kind of in not in the town, but in that area, within a reasonable distance. And so, yeah, he and his wife never lock their doors ever. Yeah, it's their house is unlocked all the time.
When growing up, where we were up in the northern Toronto area,
Mm-hmm.
about 50 minutes outside of the core, like 50-minute drive. Our door was pretty much unlocked throughout the entire day. The only time it got locked was at night. But yet,
It's a locked door.
yeah, what's because Christina's out in the boonies.
Oh, okay. So I was thinking New Jersey State, not Jersey City.
Yeah, she's Jersey State. I actually love.
Okay, that makes sense. I hope you guys lock your doors in Jersey City.
I love where they are. Like it would be a dream to live out there. It's just so quiet and pristine and just nice. And space. There's space.
Perfect for cult gatherings.
Exactly. And there's a big old fire pit, sacrificial pit. Cow country, she says.
That's funny.
Yeah, no. Me and Brad took a drive out there. It's been a long time ago now. And I was like, where the hell are we driving to? And then when we got there, I was like, oh, this is beautiful.
All right. That's how it always feels driving here in New Mexico, especially if it's in a place that you haven't been. Keep driving. Where in the hell are we going? Because you won't see nothing but landscape. Then all of a sudden you'll come across a few houses, then get to the place you're actually going, and just nice views, especially if you're going up into like to Harris Range, to Harris Mountain Range. Absolutely fantastic. Or my favorite place is actually where I'm from, Acoma Pueblo. It's in a valley, but stands 375 feet above the valley on a mesa. So you go on top and just awesome views all around. If you guys are ever in New Mexico, that's one place I would say definitely try and visit is Acoma Pueblo.
When else is said and done, definitely gonna have to hit you up for some recommendations.
Yeah, then also load up on the chili.
Oh yeah. So we have some friends that always come back with like 100 pounds of green chilies and hot chilies whenever they go back home.
Yeah, my uncle, he loads up on at least 4 gunny sacks.
I wonder if I'm allowed to bring that over the border.
If they're cooked, yes.
Okay.
That's the best smell is during fall time when they're roasting chili. Because just about every store, Smith's, Walmart, they have a giant propane tank. Then they have the roasters. So if you buy green chili on the inside, they'll actually roast it for you outside, so that smell is just in the air.
That's awesome.
It is.
Yeah. Now I want chilies. Thanks, man.
Later, Jason. Enjoy the family time.
See you, man.
Yeah, that's the one thing that, like, when I'm here in state, I won't have it too often. But as soon as I leave the state and I know it's unavailable, I have a craving for it, just like that.
Yes. Then you get home and you eat it, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm home now. This is home."
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were talking about the Wee Beastie in the chat a little bit. I heard it's only supposed to be like $10 more than our Big Ten, which I mean, it's still $10 more than 10, right? But it's pretty affordable anyway. I was literally expecting it to be like 50% more.
I just hope I could get my hands on a bottle, because that's the only downside about New Mexico is we're such a small market. We don't see many things. Like we still haven't even Blackened is unavailable here in New Mexico.
I haven't seen Black in our market down here in San Antonio either, man. Haven't seen Black. Basically, like, I don't know, if you're lucky, you'll see, like the B-Tax and stuff. But those are either, at a mom and pop shop for 8 times what they're worth, or right. You have to get a call from a major liquor store. You're on their list, and then they hit you up. $150 for Wee Beastie.
That's
I
weird.
hope you're wrong, Christina. I hope you're wrong.
Same here.
So Greg, you guys don't have a large market where you are.
No.
where I am, the Ontario, the LCBO, which is the provincial liquor board,
Yeah.
is the world's largest buyer of alcohol. No, there is no bigger one in the world, and our selection of whiskey is atrocious. Not to mention that I'm not even going to get into the prices because that's just brutal.
Right.
So the selection is awful, even though we're the largest buyer of spirits and alcohol in the world.
Yeah. Like one
I'd
example-
rather have your state's problem of just that's a valid excuse. It's not a big market. I get it. No problem. Then be in the midst of the strongest buying corporation of alcohol in the world and have the selection that we do.
Right.
So,
It's quantity over quality, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, because all of Buffalo Trace is allocated for us with the exception of Hancock's Reserve. Blanton's we only get, I think it's like 2 cases for the state or something, 2 or 3 cases for the state.
Oh my
that get
god!
divided up within the restaurants, but at my work we usually get a case. So that's pretty much all of the Blanton's within the state itself.
Right.
We only had gotten in 1 Black Art, and that was at my store.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. It was crazy the first time when they were rolling out the allocations, and they said, all right, Sazerac Rye is now allocated. I'm like, what? Really? So I had to pull all of it off the shelf and had to put it behind the desk.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, I feel like here, technically, I mean, well, it's funny. Like you go to Specs and they'll just have cases of, like Buffalo Trace, like just out. And then you go to Total Wine and they're behind the counter. It's just weird.
Yeah, even here we have like one store that gets a store pick of Buffalo Trace. It's all out in the open. But then at my store, it's like, okay, we only got in a case. It's behind the counter.
Where's that bird chirping coming from? Is that from Greg or Nate?
It's me.
Oh, it's lovely. Oh,
yeah.
This is great.
That's outside, or you have a bird?
That's outside. I actually have my door open.
Oh,
Okay,
beautiful!
nice.
I love it. I was like, where's that coming from? Because it's just such a peaceful thing. Just like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you heard on my end, it would be doves in the tree outside my balcony.
if I open my window, all you'd hear is trains going by. Because I have the commuter line, which is great. If and when everything opens up, I'm a 10-minute train ride into the middle of the city, which is going to be great.
Okay, wow.
And then and I'm a 2-minute walk from that station. Then I have that's the airport line. Sorry, that's the airport line, and then the commuter line is next to it, and then the CPR, the Canadian Railway, like all the freight and everything is right beside it. So I can't really hear it when the window's closed, but if I open it up, it's just like, and it's like, oh great.
Yeah, it's a little over a mile away from my house is the railroad, and I've become, or my ears have become deaf to the sound of the train passing by.
Yeah, my deafness is to ambulances. Living in the medical center. It's just
I just heard an ambulance go by too.
That's me.
Oh, that's you.
I was like, I don't think it's me. Yeah.
Yeah, because where I live, it's, I hate to say, it's next to some low income apartments. So I always hear either fire department or police heading over there.
Yeah, me too.
Then there's also police going up and down because Alameda is one of the streets that I live on. It's a pretty busy road, so there's always cars going by. But nowadays, my favorite thing, since it's pretty much quiet now, I just like sit in a chair on my porch, glass of whiskey, a cigar, and just listening to the birds.
Graham, what are we sipping? That's a good question, man. I've been drinking Knob Creek Rye, which is
nice.
really, yeah, man. It's got this really like awesome tropical fruit note to it. Like guava is really like the big note I get off of it, which is unique for rye. I don't know what I should have next though.
I know what I'm gonna have next. The Texas Whiskey Festival blend.
Is that the first one?
One or two?
One.
Okay, nice. I have a bottle of number 2. Haven't opened it yet though.
I thought about getting number 2, but
It's very good. I tasted it at the Crowded Barrel. It's, since it's a mix of bourbon, rye, and wheat, it tastes very bourbony in a certain way. So if you like bourbon, it's very enjoyable.
Nice. Yeah, I wish I could go to Texas more often to pick up some bottles from Crowded Barrel, but
That's the only reason why I don't buy more. No, that's the only reason why I don't. No, excuse me. That's the only reason why I don't buy more bottles from them is because I already have 3. Sorry, now I only have 1 bottle there. I had 3. I picked up 2. Last October.
Okay.
And it's like, and I have a total of 8 bottles in the States still for me to bring over because I can literally only bring back a bottle and a half of alcohol per trip.
Wait, what you mean? Like you can only bring back like what? Like one,
I can bring
1
back.
liter?
I can bring back a bottle, a full bottle, a 750.
Yeah.
And a half bottle, like the Texas whiskey blend,
375. Yeah. Okay.
without paying taxes.
Oh shoot! And I bet you taxes just like.
Oh, huge! It's almost double. That doubles the price of the bottle. So if you pay like $50 American for a bottle, you're paying almost $50 Canadian in taxes.
Good God, man!
Yeah,
That's
and that's going into Ontario. I can't speak for the other provinces, but coming into Ontario, coming through an Ontario Ontario Canadian border.
sure.
That you're most likely paying double the cost.
Wow. And so now, is there a kind of a time period on that, or is that just per trip?
Anything over, I believe, 24 hours.
Okay, so it's a 24-hour increment.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's 24, 48, and 72, but alcohol doesn't increase at all.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because I mean, I guess if you live closer to the border, it would be a little easier to just like, once a week.
well, you'd have to stay overnight, right? You have to stay 24 hours.
Oh, you have to. Oh, so you can't just
if
you
it's
just drive to your friend's house, grab your bottles, and drive back.
Yeah, if it's under 24 hours, if it's 23 hours and 59 minutes, you're paying taxes. Because you have to declare it. If you don't declare it and they catch you, it's a fine plus either you leave the bottles or you pay the tax on the bottles, plus it's on your record. Right. So it's just a disaster. If you had a friend in like Buffalo, if anyone's from Buffalo watching this and want to be my friend, just like house me for an evening, I'll pay. I'll breakfast is on me at Sophie's Diner. Sophie's Diner, by the way, I believe it's Sophie or Sophia's Diner. I can't remember, but I know where it is. Is one of the best breakfast places I've ever gone to. Breakfast ham steak like this, glorious, just absolutely glorious. Great French toast. Everything's about that place is amazing. Yeah, if anyone's watching from Buffalo, breakfast on me.
Sophie's Diner and be friends with Vito.
Yeah. But yeah, what's the people in chat? Richard Agnew. That's a new name for me, I believe. maybe for me, but maybe not for Brad and Dan. But
Oh, yeah.
welcome in, Patrick. Welcome back. Alberta is cheaper, Richard. Much cheap. Well, it's for the majority, it's much cheaper. But some things are almost even pricing. I think most Buffalo Trace products are a buck or two off from each other. But I know the big thing that I always go back to is Ardbeg Ugadal. It's $185 in Canadian in Ontario. I believe it's just over $100 in Alberta. So even after the conversion from American to Canadian, even Alberta is still just a little bit more expensive. But in Ontario, it's more than double the price pre-conversion of American dollars.
Unreal. Switching to Andalusia triple distilled.
Nice.
Since Patrick Cohn's here and has such a gigantic Texas whiskey collection, despite not being a Texan.
The one bottle I do want to find that's in Texas is the Brimstone Redux.
Oh,
Yes.
Redux is impossible to find. That's like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if you hunt around in podunk towns, you can find it, but that's a really old bottling. Yeah, they actually raffled off a bottle of it at the Whiskey Club Summit. Yeah, this lady who like didn't even like whiskey won it with like 2 other bottles. It was a 3-pack of the Reduxes, all with like Chip Tate's signature, yada yada yada. And this lady, she was just there with her husband to be his DD, and she won all 3 of them.
Yeah, because when we were pouring samples at the Bastards Ball, I fell in love with that.
Yeah, so the Redux is like it's been aged for a certain amount of time, right? Or I forget the specs on it.
Yeah, it was aged for a little bit longer, I think, than they had also accidentally burnt the corn. I think that's what it was as well.
Oh, so when they were toasting the corn, it burned it. Wow, that sounds awesome. Yeah, because on the bottles of regular Brimstone, it reads aged at least 1 day in oak.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the other groups that I'm in, he was actually working at Balcones for a little bit, and I think he had worked on the Redux at the time. I forget the whole story behind it, but I've been wanting to talk to him and see if he has a small stash or a portion of it hidden away.
Yeah, and Patrick Cohn, I'm gonna cheers whatever people are saying about you being an honorary Texan. I'm not a Texan either, but I've been living here long enough. Cheers to your honorary Texanness. Texan.
Screw you, Patrick, being so close to Texas.
I actually met Pat at the Texas Whiskey Club Summit at Balcones.
Nice. When was that? That was a couple of weeks ago, was it not? How long ago was that?
That was in February?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
that was a couple of weeks. Fuck.
Fun.
And this whole
I'm with you, man. Yeah, it doesn't. It feels like so much longer ago than it actually was.
Yeah, because let's see, Texas for me is about 2.5 to 3 hours to San Antonio, but to drive to Austin, it's a 12-hour drive.
What?
Yeah.
Well, so you should just drive to San Antonio and then drive an hour north to Austin, so it's only a 5-hour drive. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, because that's even going on the major roads. It's 12 hours.
That's crazy. No, dude, just drive your 4 hours to San Antonio and then go up I-35 for an hour and a half.
I have to give that route a try.
Yeah, it's way easier.
Christina, a couple of weeks, yes, because it's the 6th day of March. I have no sense of time, apparently. I thought it was like, oh yeah, a couple of weeks ago was February. Fuck. Yeah, now when you say February, shit. Like, it seems like forever ago that it was my 31st. And it's like, when was that again?
Oh, never mind. Not San Antonio, to El Paso. My bad.
El Paso. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes so much more sense. Okay.
Yeah, I was getting mixed up. Yeah, because let's see, following some of the major roads right now, 10 hours, 51 minutes. So that'll be, close to 12 hours because I will lose an hour.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm gonna end it off. It's been
All right.
just over 2 hours.
Cool, man. Good hanging out with y'all.
Yeah, for sure. If you guys are available tomorrow, you're more than
Yeah.
welcome.
All right.
Yeah. And Vito, I'll Facebook you my biscuit recipe.
Yeah, man, do it. I hopefully will have an island, like an actual cooking space, like prep area, within a week. So that'll definitely be a thing that I will be. Taking part in,
it's really easy, man. You don't even need a rolling pin. It's all with your hands.
Oh, nice.
The
Nice.
spirit fingers.
Very good. All right, guys. Well, let me pour something real quick to cheers everyone with, and we'll give a nice toast, obviously, to our first, our frontline workers and our first responders. Thank you for all you're doing, keeping us, keeping those safe, and we're doing our part by staying separate from everybody. So, cheers, everyone. And have a
Cheers,
good one.
y'all.